jump right in. We're planning to host a few social media workshops. Now, I'm not a professional social media person, but I'm really just going to share easy things to do that can increase chapter visibility and credibility online, not only for BNI and for our chapters, but also for our members, you know, and I'll give you a few elements of the workshops that we'll be doing so you can understand how we're going to make that happen. Because the more visibility and credibility we have, the more visitors we get, the more members we get, hopefully, but definitely the more referrals we get, and it helps members make more money at the end of the day. And that's really what it's all about. So we've put together 3 workshops, so they're in 3 parts, and they're really practical workshops. We'll be hosting them on certain dates, and during these workshops, we'll actually be going in and doing things. I'm not just showing you, you know, we're going to practically be setting up pages and kind of doing things during that time that we have together. The first workshop that we're going to be hosting, we'll actually be setting up chapter Facebook pages. So if your chapter doesn't have a Facebook page, we'll physically go in and create one. And if it does have a Facebook page, we'll kind of look at the settings and the elements that we can add and things that really shouldn't be there. And, you know, we'll just kind of go through it. We'll talk about who's maintaining those pages, what's being posted, who's posting, you know, how often they're posting. One little tip, and again, some of you might already know all of this, but maybe you don't. If you look at our chapter page, where it says BNI Gateway Chapter, right underneath there's an @ symbol, and that's your chapter page name. And the chapter page names really should be in a specific format, being BNI chapter name, Hudson Valley. So it's your chapter name, your region, and then your state, because there's lots of BNI gateways all over the world, you know, and we're really trying to get them kind of named correctly so that they're easy to find. So that's one little thing we'll talk about, and then a number of other settings. And then we'll also go through LinkedIn, and we'll, you know, help with LinkedIn company pages and how to post and graphics, and there's a whole lot of stuff we'll be talking about. So the benefits for members with a chapter having active pages, we'll talk about adding events on Facebook for each feature presenter. So if you have some time, go look at BNI Gateway's page. Every week, our feature presenter has an event which members share. And again, we might get a visitor. Even if we don't, it's such great visibility for the member, you know, and we've got a little picture up, we've got what the talk's about, and we do this every single week. We also, our page has a services tab that has every member's service listed. Again, good visibility. Some of our posts, we welcome new members, we recognize notable networkers each month. A lot of our members check in, you know, at the start of every meeting, again, just to create the visibility for the chapter. So we'll be covering that all in part 1. And I want to elaborate on one of these. So maybe this is a little sneak peek of what we're going to cover in part 1. So one of the things, if you go onto Facebook, you know, and here I'm going onto our BNI Gateway chapter page. Many of you might be aware of this, but you might also not know. If you go to the settings and then you click templates and tabs, as you can see on the screen, scroll down, there's a little services tab if your page is set up a certain way, and you want to turn that on. Because if you've activated that service tab, then this is where you can actually load every single member's service that's in your chapter. Now, look, you've got to then upkeep it. So if a member leaves, you want to take them off. And if a member joins, you want to add them on. But look at this. What a great tool. Just, you know, a little bit of extra marketing for each of your members right on your Facebook page, which is quite effective, you know. Another thing you might not know is Facebook's little publishing tools. We don't expect the publisher to go every morning and create a post, although, you know, here you can kind of see the reach and engagement. It's quite a useful little tab here. But you really want your publisher to be scheduling their posts so weekly they can schedule their posts for the week, you know, or the month even, you know, and yeah, I'm just showing you how you can do that. And you create your little post, you add your images, and then you schedule it so these posts run automatically without someone sitting there every morning at 7 o'clock creating a post, you know, you know. So these are little things that we kind of cover in the part 1 of the workshop. And then there's a lot of other things, but that will be part 1. Part 2 is where we talk about newsletters that go out. Again, with the intention of marketing your chapter and marketing your members. Okay, so the second workshop, I use MailChimp. if members use other newsletter platforms, that's absolutely fine. But I go into MailChimp because it's free and it's just very user friendly. It's easy to use. I talk about member newsletters, and we will actually, set up and create a template right then and there about what you can send to members. So in Gateway, and again, I'm just talking based on my experience, what we do and what we feel works really well. We send out a weekly newsletter to members only, which just highlights the week's meetings, right? So we meet on a Tuesday. I send the newsletter out on a Thursday, and it will have what the education slot was, just a recap. And if there were any podcasts Melinda recommended we listen to, or links to things, links to books, whatever she mentioned. It has the upcoming speaker and a little snippet on them and who we should try to invite for them. It's got a member's birthday list. It's got the traffic light, links to the traffic lights and to the Power of One reports and the BNI Hudson Valley's event page, a whole lot of links. I'm happy to share that if anybody wants to see it, I'll just, send me your email address. But yeah, so we'll show you how to set that up and how to automate it. And then really it just takes updating every week. Another tool that you can use in the form of a newsletter is pulling the visitor list of BNI Connect, so your past visitors, and then creating a newsletter and sending it to them, so that the format will be a little different, the content will be very different, but the intention will be to get them back. And so you can highlight certain things, or kind of invite them back. Maybe it's a visitor day you want to highlight, or some kind of program. And then the third element of this is, if you're a business, you might already be sending out newsletters to your customers. If you don't, wow, there's a whole world of opportunity here for you. So we'll show you how to use the same format, create a client newsletter. And whether you are or aren't already doing it, have you thought about putting a little block or tab or featured, article of BNI or of your chapter or of your referral partner in your chapter that you can promote on your newsletter that goes out to your customers? So really just how to use the newsletter tool to market yourself, your business, and your chapter. And then in part 2, we also go into BNI Connect, because there's some wonderful little tools on Connect that we are not using that we really should, because there's no extra cost, but the visibility is amazing. And you all know that every chapter has its own chapter page, right? You can find your page just by putting in your chapter name and it'll come up. So every chapter has a page, and on this page, you've got your meeting details, you've got your speaker list underneath. And if you have a look in the top right-hand corner, there it says chapter members and it says gallery. Okay, and also over here, just below visit us, there's also gallery. Have you ever clicked gallery? It's probably empty. Did you know you could load pictures in the gallery so that people that are browsing the chapter pages can click that and see pictures? So we put pictures like our Zoom meeting, or if you do in-person meetings, wow, imagine loading pictures of the actual chapter meeting or the speaker or the awards, whatever. You can put pictures, obviously BNI and chapter related, you would put in your gallery for people to see. And it's very easy to do that. I'll show you how to do that. There's also features on Connect that we are able and allowed to activate, such as we could put, it kind of pops up on the top tab there. You could put a news page that you could populate. You could even put your weekly newsletter on that news page. We at Gateway actually have, it's a hidden page, but we have our preferred sub list. So it's a hidden page, but it has a link, which is linked to my newsletter that goes to members. So when anybody's looking for a sub, they click that link, it takes them right to our page, and then there's a list of subs, the subs that are preferred sub list, and that's where they find it. And then they're on our chapter page anyway. So, so that's what I show everybody in part 2, is really just how to use those tools. And then part 3, the last part, is then inviting visitors using social media. And this is a really, really fun exercise because, again, it's practical. We invite during the workshop. And usually by the end of the workshop, you already have replies, people, wanting to come. So you're registering your visitors or asking for more information. So it's a very, very powerful workshop. We start with who we know. I talk about, not pre-qualifying people, really tapping into the network that you already have. But then we also look at LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn to invite, and we practically go and invite. And there's a number of methods using the platform, and we do the same with Facebook. There's about 3 or 4 different ways you can invite visitors or market your chapter on Facebook. We look at Alignable, and Alignable, I think, is the most underused tool that we have available to us. I get 80% of my visitors come from Alignable. It is really, really easy to invite and to network on Alignable. It's a nice platform to market your business as well. So that's what we look at. And then Nextdoor is very easy to find visitors there too. So that's part 3. We plan to do these workshops we've booked 3 dates so far. You can see on your screen, and you'll find it on Connect as well. Part 1 will be March the 18th, and then part 2 will be April the 8th, and part 3 will be April the 23rd. And then we might even do a second round. But for now, these are the dates that are booked, and we'd love for you to share this with your chapters. It's open for everybody, because as you heard, your business can benefit too from these tools. It's not really just for your chapter or for your members. So that's that. If you have any questions, or if you want to send me your email address, please do, and then I can share my newsletter with you if you want to see what it looks like.